All right, court is calling 2023 CR 2677 State versus David Solomon Duenias. Could I have parties announced for the record
For the state of Texas,
and for the defense?
Raymond Martinez.
And are you David Solomon Duenias? Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? This is incorrect. Let me see. This was a jury trial.
Yes.
Okay. Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it? Are you the same David Solomon Duenias who was placed on community supervision by jury in 2023, placed on community supervision by the court, which followed the recommendation from the jury in 2023 CR 2677 for the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on January 23rd, 2024 for a term of 5 years? Is that you? State?
Violation condition number 1, on or about the 9th day of October 2025 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, David Solomon Duenias, committed the offense of assault on violation condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Violation condition number 2, on about the 12th day of September 2025 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, David Solomon Duenias, did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely cocaine, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true? All right, state, call your witnesses.
This time, Your Honor, state will call Terrence Williams.
All right.
And Judge, before they call the number 1, while they try to prove that one up, I wanted the court to be aware that we would prefer to have our jury trial on the number 1 violation. And it's been indicted already. We're ready to go on it as soon as the court could, but because of the different standard of proof, I think in all fairness, my client should be afforded his right to a jury trial on that.
All right, we're going to proceed. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record. All right, state, you may proceed.
After you, Mr. Williams.
Good afternoon, sir.
Could you please introduce yourself to the court?
My name is Terrence Williams. I'm a CSO for Revocation
How long have you been a CSO with the Bexar County, Bexar County?
since 2025.
In your employment with Bexar County Probation, have you come into contact with someone whom you now know to be David Solomon Duenias?
Yes, sir.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Could you identify him, please, by an article of clothing that he's wearing?
Black vest, black long sleeves and glasses.
Mr. Williams, can you please tell the court, when was your first interaction with Mr. Duenias?
September of 2025.
And at that meeting, did you go over anything with Mr. Duenias?
Yes, went over acting a series of
We get the
questions.
non-responsive judge. You just asked him, did he go over things with him? The answer is yes or no.
Yes.
What things did you go over with Mr. Duenias on that day when you first met him?
So some things I went over were his employment, place of address, and had he had any contact with law enforcement, the police, or any arrests.
And what was the purpose of that last question for having any contact with law enforcement or arrests?
The purpose for that question was to determine if he was violating any conditions under his probation.
And what condition of probation would that be?
Violations of committing a new offense.
No further questions this time, Your Honor. I'll pass the witness.
No questions, Judge.
All right, thank you. Is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excused by the state.
Judge, I'm not really sure what role he plays in the overall scheme of my client's probation. I don't know if he's a regular probation officer or just, it was just that particular day. If he's a regular probation officer, I'd like him to stick with that.
I haven't been with my friend.
Okay.
All right, so if you could remain. Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. All right, call your next witness.
Your Honor, this time state calls Miss Karina Luvano.
Nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right, you're gonna need to speak up so I can hear and the court reporter can hear. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record. All right, defense, you may proceed.
Mr. Duenias, do you recall the incident in October with Ms. Levano who just left? And the two, do you agree with her that the two of you were together in a living together relationship for 4 years or more? And you have a child together? Okay. In what was your child's age at the time? Yeah, more or less, yeah.
And three.
And how long have the two of you been living apart? Okay. So you knew that she already was in a new relationship, correct?
Object to reading zone.
Sustained.
Did you know whether or not she was in a new relationship? And had you ever informed her whether or not you had proceeded to a new relationship? Okay. So was there any leftover issues between the two of you, or were you at this point separate and apart permanently? What do you mean by she had issues? You need to speak up.
I was living in actually my daughter. She said that was going on.
Like a speculation on.
All right, that'll be sustained. And I'm going to need you to speak up because I can barely hear you. I know the court reporter is struggling. All right, the objection to speculation as to the thoughts and feelings of the complainant, that will be sustained.
Okay, so what was the reasoning for you to be there that day?
She left me that called me while I was at work if I could pick up the baby. She had plans.
Okay, and did you agree to do that?
Yes, I was going to dinner with my partner.
Okay, and were you working that day? And so what time did you make plans to be there to pick her up? Okay, and so did you get to her apartment around roughly that hour? Okay, and what was her demeanor like or her behavior at the time when you first encountered her that night?
She was fine.
Okay, so everything is fine. Okay, and at some point, did that change? And what caused that to happen? A little bit louder, Dave,
The
please.
baby was leaving. I couldn't wake her up. She was tired and put her out. Then come back to her mom. I was off the next day.
How did she respond to that?
She said she already made plans and I was already there for me to take her. And I told her that she was the one who had her mom when she was tired. I was very late. Since I was the girl in the morning.
So you didn't leave her upstairs to sleep, you actually picked her up and we're gonna take her.
Yes.
What was your concern, Dave? Why did you not want to do that?
I've been home in 8 months, so she's not that comfortable with me again, so.
Object to speculation on.
Overruled.
You can finish your answer.
She's not that comfortable, she has with it. She cries and. So I didn't want that to happen.
Okay, and did you express that to her?
Yes, so. And she replied that she needs to get used to me, so I need to take her.
And at some point, did the tone of voice between you or her change? Okay, and then what proceeded to happen next?
And. That I, whatever I want, and.
Object is to hearsay.
Overruled.
So she's cursing at you, she's upset with you, and what happens next?
She told me about money, she wanted money and how much spending it with my son, like giving her money to her apartment and helping her out.
So even though the two of you had separated, she's still living in an apartment that you're financially obligated to pay, is that right?
Object to leading on.
Overruled.
So all these things start coming out from her complaints, suggestions, comments, whatever you want to call them, after you told her you were gonna leave the baby.
Object is leading and relevant.
Overruled.
You tell the judge, David, tell me what happens after you tell her that you don't want to take her in that condition she was in at the time.
Wow. Not giving enough time for the baby, helping her out. That's it. This problem. She left me, so that made her mad. We just continued to argue back and forth on the kids. She was in a car with him.
Okay, so what did she do next?
Home.
Okay, she grabbed your phone? Okay, so why was she grabbing your phone if you know?
This, you're grabbing it.
Object to speculation.
Overruled.
Has she ever taken that tactic with you in the past when you guys have argued? Now, I asked her the question about whether or not she'd ever been physical with you. What is your answer to that question? And so when I say that, describe for the judge the kinds of actions she's taken against you in the past.
And on my head in front of the children and that's on the top of you, I had nothing like that. And
Now you say glass pan, describe it for the court.
that's the,
Okay, so it's like a dish that you would store food that's cooked in? Okay, did it break? And what was the injury that it caused to you? And did you file a police report as a result of that? Okay, is this the first time that she'd gotten to that extreme with you? So, so that was the last day that the two of y'all were together? Okay. Now, you heard the way she described the way that you were acting that day, correct? She characterized it as you charging at her. Did you do that?
We're fighting on the phones. We discussed this. Sure.
So it was strictly the two of you. Were you fighting over your phone or fighting over hers, or both?
Well, she had mine. Just trying to.
Okay. So at any point other than trying to get your phone back or taking hers, did you put your hands on her? Okay. She talks about being cornered in the kitchen. Did the tussle or the back and forth over the phones move around the apartment?
I'm not charged for the phone. She would walk back and then. Try to get my phone. But we still go back and forth.
Okay. You heard me ask her about her 11-year-old. Where was she at this time?
Watching.
Well, when you say she's watching, where was she? So in the same room y'all were in. Would you say she was there the whole time? Are you on good terms with her?
Object is irrelevant, Your Honor.
Sustained.
To your knowledge, well, yeah, something else. Why did you leave after this all kind of, I guess, calmed down?
She would be my phone back so I little kid. And I broke it. The daughter started crying and hugged her and I grabbed my phone and left.
Now, the phone that you broke, was that your phone or, I mean, who owned the phone? Okay. So he was using it, but. Okay. You understand, that probably wasn't the best move. Okay. But did you throw it at her or strike her with it or anything like that?
My phone got left it here.
Okay. Now, since she's gotten this protective order, has she reached out to try to communicate with you?
Object is irrelevant, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Since the protective, well, let's go back. Did you agree to a protective order with her? And when did that happen? Okay, so sometime after October. And you agreed to it in the sense that you signed off on, is that right?
Yeah.
Now, even though you got that order, has she still tried to communicate to you directly or through another person?
Object is irrelevant.
Overruled.
Has she tried to get messages to you or to communicate with you, even though the protective order is in place? Does she contact your family? I'll pass away, Judge.
State.
Mr. Duenias, you have been a monthly toward Ms. Luano, correct?
I don't know what that word means.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Can you turn towards me?
I don't know what that word means.
You don't like her really anymore, do you?
I still love her. Mother of my daughter.
I can't hear you again. Could you,
I still love her. She's the mother of my daughter.
well, you have anger towards her, right? You don't have any anger towards her at all. So you just left because you just wanted to leave, right? Because it was a happy situation for you to leave, right? You were happy in doing so. You weren't angry at all at her because of what you're saying she did to you, right?
From that day. From what day?
Okay, well, let me help you out then. You were testifying earlier with Ms. Martinez asking you questions that you don't live with her anymore, right?
Yes.
If you had moved out, right?
Yes, sir.
You were angry in doing so, right?
I was just sad that our family is broken, so I left. There's nothing I can do.
There was nothing at all you could do to try and make things better, right?
No,
You certainly couldn't act better on your end towards her, right?
because I moved, I made my decision to get away from her.
Okay. So because of that, and you having to now live somewhere else, this is an inconvenience for you then, right?
Oh,
Okay. You have to make arrangements with her whenever you want to see the child that you have in common then, right? No, you don't. So you just go whenever you want to over there?
Father, he said yes or no, and I don't argue.
Right, exactly. Those are arrangements that you're making with her to see the child, right?
Oh, yes,
Okay. So on this day, you had made an arrangement to go and see your child then, right?
she made an arrangement with me.
So you never reached out to her first?
She reached out to me.
She reached out to you, okay, so, but you still said, okay, I'm gonna go and see my daughter then, right?
Yes,
You went over there after work, as you testified earlier, right?
yes,
Okay, and when you got there, you went to go and see your daughter, right, who was upstairs sleeping?
yes,
Okay. And after that, you brought her downstairs, right?
yes,
Was she still asleep at that time?
yes,
All right. And then there was an argument that took place between you and Miss Lavanu, right, about a key to the apartment?
more things too, but yes.
Okay, well, that was one of the things you argued about, right?
Yes,
And you didn't want to give it to her because it's your apartment, right?
yes,
Because in your opinion, she doesn't have a right to have a key to the apartment that she lives in with her children, right?
she was moving out.
Well, at the time it wasn't though, right?
No,
The time it was active,
the lease was already expired and
it was expired, so you were allowing her to live there after at least that expires. Is that what you're saying?
yes, because she was moving out, she said,
Okay, so the apartment complex was aware that there's someone living in this apartment that's not on the lease.
yes,
Okay, that's what you're saying. All right, so you get there that day and you guys have this argument about that, that makes you angry, right?
no,
You didn't get angry about anything. Okay, so you're calm, having a conversation with her the entire time.
about the key, I wasn't upset,
Okay, but okay, other things then upset you then, right?
but
Yeah, you got upset, so you went at her, right?
no,
You never went at her? You never put your hands on her neck? Never choked her at all? Never lifted her off the ground with your arms around her and on her neck?
not that strong to lift her off the ground, no, I would never,
Okay, so you never did that either. That's not true.
no, it's not true.
Okay, but so the only thing you did is grab her phone and smash it then, right?
I said, you grab my phone.
After she grabbed yours. So you grabbed yours in retaliation and you smashed it because you felt like it's your phone and you own it and you can do whatever you want, right?
Yes,
Okay. So, and this was done in front of her children then, right?
yes,
You felt like that was appropriate behavior to act like that in front of two children?
No.
You still did it anyway though, right?
yes,
Okay. One of them being yours, right? Okay, so it didn't matter to you at that point how that might affect them, right? You were just too angry to care about that. You were, okay, so you just, that's what someone in a calm, nice manner, right?
father's very trying to get out.
Wanted to get out, so you did that. You just got out there and you left your child there, right?
Yes.
At that point, you didn't care, you just wanted to get out.
Yes.
And you're obviously aware that you're on probation for a case that you had gone to jury trial on, right?
Yes,
And is it important to you to keep up with the terms of those probation?
yes,
Because you want to be on probation.
yes,
You want to do well on probation.
Yes,
And you felt like this was the appropriate way to show that you're doing well on probation?
that's why I wanted to leave. That day, that's why I was trying to leave.
That you were trying to leave, even despite all this stuff, you were wanting to leave because of your probation.
Because she kept saying she was gonna call the police.
Did you ever call the police that day to tell them your version of what happened?
No, because I didn't hurt her, so I wasn't aware of anything. I just thought it was, I didn't hurt her, she didn't hurt me, I just thought we would just talk to each other, and just blow it over, and she'd apologize, because she always does, she'll apologize. And we try to co-parent, that's all I thought was gonna happen, I didn't hurt her, I didn't do anything, so I didn't think of anything was gonna happen.
All right, any other questions?
From the state.
Any follow-up questions?
Not on the allegations of number one, Judge. No.
All right. Any other witnesses from either side?
None from the state.
Judge, I would have questions for probation, but not as to the truth or not untruth of the allegation of the number one, just depending on if that's necessary. But I'm assuming we're gonna ask,
No, what questions you
well,
have?
just like how he's doing on probation, whether he's, all the things he's supposed to be doing, things like that, but.
All right.
I don't remember his name, Judge.
That's okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Williams?
All right, you're still on, defense tells me they have some questions. They just want to know how Mr. Duenias was doing on probation other than with this allegation.
Your Honor, he was doing fine, he was showing up on time for his virtual visits. Unfortunately, he tested positive for cocaine and cardiac effects. Other than that, he showed up on time.
Well, but he's done more than that, to be fair, right? He's completed classes, correct? Matter of fact, you have a listing of all the things that he's completed. Tell the judge all the things he's completed on probation.
So he's completed matters intervention, GPS. He provided a DNA sample in his parenting class.
What about community service?
Yes, he's completed community service.
Well, how's he done on those payments?
So he made payments. He does have a balance of $3,712.
Okay, but that includes probation fees that are due in the future, correct?
Correct.
How much is he actually paid towards probation?
So he's actually paid $244.
Okay. Now, isn't it true that you advised him that because of all the things he's completed, and if he got current with his probation fees, that he might be eligible for early termination?
Reject this term, Mr. Honor.
Overruled.
You didn't have that conversation with him? Okay. Who did he have before you? Or did he have somebody before you? It's better.
Yes.
Okay, so you've only been on the case just a couple
2
months. Okay. That's what it should.
No
All right.
questions, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. All right. With regards to violation of condition number 2, the court is finding it not true. The court will note for the record that the probation officer did state that Mr. Duenias, I believe, tested positive, but the court is not considering that because I know that the defense was bringing the witness strictly for the purposes of how he was doing on probation and with regards to whether or not he tested positive for cocaine. Lab reports would need to be presented and the person, whoever is responsible for doing the testing, would need to come in and testify. So that'll be found not true. With regards to violation of condition number 1, the court is finding violation of condition number 1 true. Is there a request from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, that request is to revoke the defendant's probation and sentence him to 2 years in prison.
All right, defense.
Well, clearly, Judge, we're not in agreement with that. And now that you've heard the testimony in the case, you can see why we're anxious to take this case before a jury and get a determination after a full and complete trial of all of the issues with all of the witnesses and other evidence that's relevant and admissible in court. Due to his performance on probation, Judge, and his obligation in terms of support, his voluntary acquiescence to the protective order, we'd ask the court to employ one of the many sanctions that the court has available and to keep him on his probation. If nothing else, at least until we resolve that new charge. The state's gonna have another shot at him. In that case, they can ask for the full range of punishment, and they won't be limited to the 2 years that the court has in this situation. I think Ms. Levana was honest when she said that it's a two-way street. And she was being very kind to herself about that. When you smash a pot over somebody's head and embed glass into their shoulder, that suggests you the type of person that she really is. And why she admittedly was reluctant to come and testify in court, because there's things that she's done and contributed to this situation happening in October that she's not proud of either. I think they both are embarrassed that all this had to come to light in public, and they both could have done better and handled the situation than and so, Judge, in light of everything, we're asking the court not to revoke his probation and to consider other alternatives.
All right, and counsel, have you completed the trial court certification?
I have not, Judge. I've been kind of busy last. few
Oh,
months.
if you all will complete that for me, please.
So, portion of vote by signing the details if you understand that you have limited rights to appeal.
All right. The court is going to grant the state's motion to revoke. The court will sentence you to 2 years in the prison, giving credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's to be no contact with Danessa Duenas, Christian Rodriguez, and Charles Waterson. And that's from the previous conditions that were given when you were placed on community supervision by the jury. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? You do have a right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegation in the motion, not the fact that you're in community supervision. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Okay? All right. Good luck to you, sir.